everyone, and welcome to the last week of our course. For this feedback video, I decided to share my thoughts around your hands-on experiences, as your reflections generated even more questions for me, inspiring my own inquiry based in this framework. For many of you, you chose to spend time in familiar spaces where previous schema had already been developed. However, revisiting these spaces with a different mindset, this time engaging in the scientific method, impacted your experience and gave space for you to listen and research your curiosities. Miriam shared, I was exploring not only a space, but a familiar space with a different mindset that was focused more on really observing and researching the space. I did not have to be in the stereotypical science mindset, but rather an explorer mindset. I felt that I felt that it connected to the exploration and discovery part of the flowchart, and that I was asking questions, making observations, and finding inspiration. For some of you, these questions had been previously ignored or not fully honored until approaching the space with the intent of listening and being open to possibilities. Callie reflected, when I walked by the children's playground, I saw a huge heart that captured my attention. I have seen a few of these sculpture hearts around the city before, but never researched about them. Who created them and why are they around different parts of the city? This research came from me, my own questions, theories, and within my own context, which made the experiment meaningful. In your reflections, I noticed you are open to being led and willing to dive deeper, based on the serendipity of your experience and the curiosity of your heart and mind. Martha reflected, I went for a walk in the woods just for the pleasure of being outside and visiting a spot I enjoy. While in the woods and without knowing, I performed some actions that are research-based. I was a scientist. I conversed with the trees and the world around me while connecting and learning from what surrounded me, and I felt like that my behavior during this exploration was conscious and spontaneous, but I was constructing knowledge and enhancing my viewpoint about nature and ecology. You also place value in observation to guide your experience and questions versus a known endpoint, living in the dissonance, which can be hard, but ultimately more rewarding and authentic, providing space for a diversity of expression. Jillian reflected, as I was engaged in the process, I felt a sense of relationship with others and the world around me. I felt as if I was relating to the people who built the structure, even though I have not met them. I felt a connection to them with the gratefulness to them for the curiosity and wonder they left for me to discover. I also felt a relationship to the rock formation. It felt as if I began to understand the story and view it in a way I would have not before. I noticed that because you were given the opportunity to choose your path of inquiry and who to include in that path, your questions and discoveries were authentic and meaningful to you and your experience. Adriana shared, I believe true scientists must go through similar experiences of findings within findings. There's always something new to be discovered, and once a new baseline is established, we start a new process. Isn't the world a fascinating place? Through this authentic exploration, relationships are formed, empathy built, recognizing the interconnectedness with space, nature, and other living creatures. Kimberly shared, I originally thought that the scientific method took less of an empathetic approach than the other methods, but I came to see that is not the case. You can only truly reach the depths of understanding if you continually search to understand the complexities surrounding those involved in your questions and hypothesis. I was inspired by the goals you set for yourselves and the implications they have for teaching. Abby shared, I am thankful that I get to have Carla Rinaldi's thoughts and ideas whispering into my ear and giving me the confidence to passionately explore the world with my students and to feel empowered to embrace the curiosity and wonder of my students every single day. You also pointed to the importance of continuing your own curiosity. Erin shared, thus, I plan to engage in more solo research, both in terms of the children's current interests, but also my own. You also recognize that there is always more research to be done within our own teaching and classroom community. Yasmin reflected, this process enabled me to identify both strengths and weaknesses within my program and rediscover the importance of topics around inclusivity and kindness. In the future, when presented with the opportunity to visit an external space with my students, I plan to engage them in reflection, encouraging them to observe keenly and raise questions. There is so much joy to be found in the world of inquiry, but it takes intentionality. Lisa shared, this might be another goal for myself, is to take the time to listen to the children more when they have an interest. I should engage more. This will lead to learning and to researching and to science. I wanted to take a minute to share some examples of how you uniquely engage in developing relationships with your spaces. I was in awe of how many different modalities each of you chose to create and express this relationship, whether through a gift, a poem, a drawing, or a personal letter. I hope that by taking the time to create these gifts, it deepened your relationship with the space and your commitment to find ways to continue open-ended inquiry in your context. Okay, so let's talk about our final week together. You may or may not have noticed that there aren't any new readings for this week. It's really just a chance to take a look, reflect on your journey through this course and how you view science and STEM as a whole. Let's look at these prompts. These prompts will guide you through that bigger thinking, maybe set some goals or just kind of reflecting on relationships with frameworks. So you'll also notice that this is with the entire class and no longer in a small group, so that'll be fun for us all to be back together. So please post your initial thoughts by Wednesday at midnight and then respond to your peers by Friday. So the other thing is that our course closes on Saturday. So if there's anything that you still need to turn in or that you're going to resubmit, make sure and get that in by Saturday at midnight Mountain Standard Time. And if you wouldn't mind, if there's something that you just turn in or that you have turned in and I haven't had a chance to regrade, will you send me an email? Sometimes these things come through and I don't get notified, and I would really hate to, well, I would feel really badly that I didn't honor the fact that you chose the time to um, resubmit it and do some more thinking. So just reach out. I want to make sure that I get a chance to look at that for you. So have a wonderful week. Reach out as always, and I cannot wait to read your thoughts and engage with you this week.